Yo, gentlemen, welcome back. Let's talk about why most women don't like most men. So, guys, women are very selective, right? They are hardwired to be selective due to the fact that they are the weaker vessel, right? They are the weaker of the two genders, of the two sexes. So, as a result of that, right, as a result of that biological hardwiring to find a competent man that will take care of her offspring and protect her offspring, she needs to be selective on who she chooses, right? Now, I think in today's world, the pendulum has swung all the way to the extreme in the sense that there are almost virtually like no attractive men, right? Very slim. There's probably maybe 5 to 10% of existing men right now that women actually would just find attractive, not even, that would just give them a chance, right? So why is there, I'm not saying women hate men nowadays, some definitely do, but why are women just like careless about men? Why do they feel like they can be career women? Why do they feel like they're so like they just don't need men, and they generally just don't really like care? I'm not saying they don't want to, but they're not like, it's not like a need for them, right? Well, the truth is that they don't need us, right? They can make their own money, they can advance in their careers, right? They can provide for themselves. So if they find it, so in that way, they can be selective because their biological survival isn't necessarily dependent on a man. They would rather want a man as opposed to need a man. So with that being said, it's important to understand that the reason why most women don't care or don't like or hate most men is because a lot of women, guys, that are attractive, that you guys find attractive, right? Typically, and I mentioned, I'm kind of piggybacking off one of my previous videos. They're typically women who are exposed to like men's dark side, meaning not like dark side as in like they're toxic, but like they think about it, right? If you're an attractive girl, let's say you live in a city like Miami or New York or LA or Chicago, right? You're getting hollered, and you're like a pretty girl, you're like an 8 on the attractive scale, a 9 or a 10. You're getting hollers across the street, you're getting hollers, you're getting DMs in your Instagram and your TikToks, you're getting messages on TikTok, on Snapchat, right? On Facebook, right? You're getting men to subscribe to your OnlyFans, throwing you thousands of dollars, right? Just to see you naked. So guys, you gotta realize that most women that are attractive, the reason they don't care about you, or the reason they're just apathetic and they just like, they're like whatever, right? Or they don't feel like, talking to you, or they don't feel like they need you, is because they've been exposed to the absolute worst side of men, right? So I'm not even talking about the SIMPs, right? But like men that are abusive, right? Like she could have been cheated on multiple times, right? She could have been verbally abused, physically abused, right? When she goes to the club or the bars or whatever, or parties, right? She's constantly getting like stared at and creeped out by men, right? So she's always seeing the dark side of men. She's always seeing the lower nature of man, right? So in her mind, right, her worldview, because of what she sees on a constant everyday basis, her worldview towards men in general is negative, or it's just like, hey, I don't need you guys, right? I'm getting constant DMs, I'm getting constantly messaged online, guys are paying me money, I don't even have to have a job, right? Because I'm getting paid on OnlyFans, right? So with this being said, I'm not here to say that women don't have their flaws, right? Because like I said, society does lie to women, right? Our music lies to them, our media lies to them. We have a general consensus of lies that we feed to women about things that you guys are aware of that I don't really need to go into too much into length here. But the main reason why they don't like most men, or they don't really, you could be a great guy, you could be attractive, you could have great intentions, but just because of the thousands or hundreds of thousands of men that she's dealt with, whether it's, like I said, due to, maybe she's had to deal with being cheated on, she's being SIMPE'd on, She's getting money spent on her constantly, right? Maybe she got physically abused, right? Maybe she gets in arguments with men. Maybe men don't want to commit, or maybe men just want to complain, or men want to say she doesn't work, or whatever. Like, there's so many different intricacies of this problem, right? But I think in general, it's like, you guys got to understand that they think this way, or they feel this way towards men in general, as a group, right? Men as a group, because of this, right? Because of what she experiences, right? And if you think about it, this is pretty much every attractive woman. Now, it's probably less prevalent in suburbs and rural areas, but in urban areas like cities, that's probably where you're gonna see the worst of women, right? Because there's just so much garbage, right, in inner cities in the United States and everywhere, right? It's not just the US. So yeah, that's why women have this general sense of like, I don't like men, I don't care about them. But in this in a previous video, I talked about how men can reclaim our divine nature, right, and have a better we can appear as better candidates to choose from as far as women go, right? Because if we're, like I said, if we're restrained in the sense that we're celibate, guys, I'm telling you, when you're on semen retention and you're celibate, that solves 90% of the women problems, right? Because when you are addicted to porn, when you're addicted to sex and you have to chase women, that's when men act stupid. When men act with their lower head and not their bigger head, this head right here, right? When we act down there, that's when we have all the problems. That's when we have all the tricks, the simps, the creeps, right? Because we throw all of our logic out, we throw all of our rationality out because we want to sleep with her, right? And we act in crazy ways. We'll approach women, we'll buy her drinks, we'll subscribe to OnlyFans, or if we're in a relationship, because we're such sex addicts, we'll want to cheat, right? And again, this is the root cause of all of that. So I don't think men behave badly because we genuinely don't like women. It's due to the fact that we're so addicted to sex, right? Because like I said, if you take sex out of the equation, if you take the need for intercourse out of the equation, which is difficult, like I said, it's hard to restrain yourself, right? It's one of the hardest things to do, to retain your seed, right? To quit porn or to have sexual discipline. It's one of the hardest things to do as a man, but sometimes it's the hardest things that we have to do that will yield the greatest results, right? So if we as a group of men can switch the pendulum that way, right, and stop, ejaculating, watching porn, I think women, and we advance in our careers, and we're more competent, we have better skills, we're smarter, we're stronger, right? Because think about it, right? Most men are fat, most men are broke, most men are lazy, most men don't know how to do basic shit. Most men are creeps, most men are losers, dumb, right? They slobber on their words and shit. They don't speak properly, right? They have poor fashion. If you really think of all of the traits and all of the negative, well, not negative, but if you think of the loser traits that most men have nowadays, and you switch the pendulum the other way, if we start restraining ourselves, if we, like I said, we become more competent in our careers, we have better, if we develop a better fashion, a better sense of self, right? Then I think women will actually want to be more interested in at least going on dates with us, right? Think of how many men just get turned down, right? Think of how many men just aren't even existing, right? Let alone they can't even get a date. Imagine how many guys are just invisible to most women, right? And you see these red pillars talk about it, right? And then one final thing I'll say about this problem is that I think as men we have to change. So not only do we have to become restrained, meaning we're not watching porn, we're not seeking sex, because that's going to do most of the work for you, right? Because like I said, as a result of you restraining yourself, you'll want to be more into your career, you'll want to make money, you'll want to become more attractive in general, right? But I think the last part to this piece of this equation is that we need to date with better intention, Because think about it, right? A lot of the problems we have are due to the fact that, a lot of the, like, women always complain about men cheating or men won't commit. We have to date with a commitment intention, right? So basically, if you think about it this way, why are most women upset, right? Most women are upset because they basically, they had sex with a man, right? And they thought that, that this man was going to take her seriously and commit to her and, continue to establish a relationship, right? And the guy didn't want to. So, a lot of women feel betrayed because they are being courted. They feel like they're being courted, right? The man's, saying everything she wants to hear, right? He's being charismatic. He's being funny. He's being sarcastic if he needs to, right? Flirting, doing all the things that, attract a woman, right? Maybe he's lying to her, saying the things she wants to hear, right? To get her attention, to get her to want to sleep with him, right? And when she finally does have sex with him, right? And he decides, you know what? This is it, right? And he just ghosts her, right? That's what a lot of dudes do, right? They'll sleep with a chick, right? They'll tell her everything. Yeah, baby, I'll take care of you. I'll provide for you. I'll do all this. I'll buy you a Louis. I'll buy you a Gucci, right? I'll hold you down. I'll provide for you. And then, hey, next thing you know, right? They smash once or twice, and then he's gone. He's out. And maybe he even impregnated her, right? If he wanted to be really a real dick, right? So anyways, with that being said, we have to date with better intention, right? Because if you take that out of the equation, let's say most of us decide, hey, we're just going to date women. We're going to sleep with women that we want to develop a relationship with. I think a lot of the reason why one of the bigger reasons why women have disdain with men is because men cheat. A lot of men do cheat. A lot of men cheat, but a lot of men don't want to commit too. So it's not only the fact that men cheat in relationships, but it's also the fact that men don't want to commit in the first place. And that's the problem, right? Because here's the thing, right? Women and men, it's easy for women to get sex. It's harder for a man. It's hard for women to get commitment. It's easy for her to get sex, right? So think about it, right? We both win. If a man decides to commit to a woman, right, the only thing he really has to sacrifice is his desire for variety. Because, men, we like variety, right? We like, because from a biological, animalistic, evolutionary background, we're designed to spread our seed, right? So we find variety very pleasing. But like I said, for the greater good of humanity, for the nuclear family, for better children, for wiser children, for more intelligent children, for stronger children, right? If we date with the intent of building families, right? If we date, or at least with the intent of developing a long-term relationship that could turn into marriage or family, right? Then women aren't necessarily going to hate us that much, right? Because it's like, hey, again, you guys know women just mostly complain about guys being losers or guys cheating or being verbally or physically abusive, right? So with that being said, I think we need to obviously be restrained, be celibate, right? That helps. We need to develop ourselves, develop our attractiveness, develop our skills, our careers, our bodies. But on the flip side of it, as a second piece, we have to date more intently. We have to date with the intent to, yes, maybe you do want to have sex with her, but at least have the desire to be in a relationship, right? And I'm not saying that means you got to be needy or that means you have to show right away that you need to be in a relationship, because women fall in love slowly. So you don't want to obviously show your cards too quick. But you don't want to just date a woman or go on a date and then smash and then that's it. Because like I said, you're being part of the problem that, women constantly complain about. And I'm not here to defend women, right? Because like I said, they have their flaws too. But I think a lot of the main problems come from us, right? I think, you hear all the media and the music and the feminists and this and that. And it's like, what is that a result of, though? You got to look at that, because like I said, a lot of these red pill guys, they complain about feminism. They complain about 304s. They complain about whatever else, right? Whatever other problem, right? On the gender war, right? But it's like, what is that a result of, right? What is feminism? What are boss babes? What are independent women? What are single moms? What is that a result of? What are promiscuous women? What is that a result of? That's a reflection of us, right? You know, I'm not trying to promote any Christianity or be a evangelizer here, but in Christianity it goes God, man, women, children. So if that's the truth, right? If that's a semblance of truth, right? It makes sense that we're the superior being, right? So women are designed to follow men, men are designed to follow God, children are designed to follow women, right? So if we're the leaders, right, you know, of women and children, right, and you know, of animals too, if we're the leaders, then it makes sense for us to be the most competent, intelligent men when it comes to dating, right? And if we want to build a healthy society, if we want to build healthy children, intelligent children, strong children, productive members of society, right? If that's the goal, to turn all the garbage crap that we're dealing with around, right? If that's our goal, we have to date with intention, right? We have to date with intention. We have to be restrained. And I think if you take those two pieces of the equation and you start telling men that that's how we're going to turn this around, and like I said, it's not a sexy answer, right? Because think about it, right? As a byproduct of you being in a relationship or in a marriage, that means you're committed to that one person for life, right? So that's a lot for most guys. Most guys don't want to do that because they can't say no to sex, right? Or, you know, sex with their wife is just it's not enough. They want to go bang this chick. They want to go bang that chick, right? And that's the thing that's so hard about it, because it's like, hey man, you want to go have enjoyable experiences with all these women because it's in your nature. But at the end of the day, right, you have to sacrifice, right? Christ, Jesus was a sacrifice for us, right? And in the same way, you know, when we sacrifice our lower nature, it's for the betterment of everyone involved. It's for the betterment of your neighbor. It's for the betterment of your state, of your country, right? So with that being said, you know, we have to look at things from that perspective when we're dating, right? And I'm talking to men here, right? Because like I said, it's easy to point the finger at women, but I'm telling you right now that when we as men get our act together, when we become more attractive, when we become smarter with our head, not that smarter with that down there, or not impulsive with that thing down there, then I think we'll slowly start to turn this thing around. But like I said, in the past like 100 years, right, this country has been slowly declining, right? We don't value religion. We don't have any moral values, right? We don't date intently. We don't have any self-discipline. We're losers. We don't have, you know, we have so many addictions. We have so many mental problems. And it's no wonder why women complain. It's no wonder why women act the way they do or think the way they do when it comes to their attitude towards men. So that's why most women don't like most men. And I feel like those two answers are viable options as to how we can solve the issue and start moving in the opposite direction so we can create a better country and a better future for everyone to live in, right? Because like I said, it's not looking too great right now. Relationships suck, absolutely suck. And like I said, there's only one group of people who's gonna fix it, and it's men. I deal with men because men are the leaders, and we are gonna be the ones to lead us to the promised land, right? We lead ourselves to our demise, to society's demise, or we lead us to our prosperity and to our general betterment as a globe, right? As a globe, as a country, as a humanity. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down below. And as always, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.